Arnott, 1 minute, take the floor, please.
Mr President. I am no fan of the death penalty, although I am a fan of democracy. We have heard the anti-death penalty view over and over again in this chamber, and in general I share it. But I suppose if I were to ask my constituents what they thought, then opinion would be very, very much divided indeed as to whether somebody who deliberately and callously takes a life should have the potential of losing their own as punishment. When we look broader, ask me to condemn the Saudi Arabian injustice system and I will, not because of the death penalty itself, because that is a decision for a sovereign government, but because of its systematic unfairness and the crimes for which it can be given. So I don't support the death penalty, but also I believe it's wrong to politicise trade to enforce one view over others and to say that we believe this is the only valid view.
Thank you very much indeed. Do you accept a blue card from your colleague, Mr. Bill Etheridge? Please take the floor.
Thank you. Whilst myself and Mr Arnott normally agree on most things, on this we disagree. I wonder if my colleague would agree with me that whilst he takes a more moderate view, and I believe some crimes can only be forgiven by God, and I hasten to make that judgment come forward, would he not agree with me that the primacy of democracy is the single most important factor in any nation state and for any politician, and if the people of a country democratically decide through referenda to have the death penalty restored, that should be respected by any true democrat?
I believe in the principle of democracy, and yes, if the people of a country wished to bring that in, then of course I would have to accept that. But equally I would expect Mr Etheridge to accept that if my personal view were to win out, that he would accept that you shouldn't have the death penalty. That's what democracy fundamentally is. But I take the view that we are at a point where I don't believe that we can fundamentally trust the state to always get it right and to have that power of life or death, which can't be undone.